coming in off another winning day, guys. That makes it 4 straight winning days. 5 of the last 6 have been profitable. Split on some dogs, so nice little night in the MLB. Have to address, John and I just talking about Shohei Ohtani. What the hell last night? 10 Ks, 2 homers, single-handedly takes care of the White Sox. Absolutely ridiculous. For anyone who's a baseball fan, not absolutely in awe. I don't know what you're doing. Guy's crazy.
It's like a movie. It's like Rocky keeps getting knocked down. You hit him with 2 baseball bats. He gets back up. But yeah, this is like movie type stuff. He pitches, he hits, he does it all. So we were just talking about that next contract, $100 million a year for 3 years. Maybe that's what he gets. It's just ridiculous. Again, legendary stuff. And I guess really answering the question, who's the best baseball player right now? And that's got to be Ohtani.
Yeah, he might put himself all the time. Already in the MVP voting or the MVP futures, he is minus 650. Not even halfway through the season, minus 650 to come out on top of the MVP. Pretty crazy.
Look, the only guy could challenge, and he can only challenge on one end, is Judge. We've talked about how important Judge is to his team. Yankees now 13-17, hitting 208 without Judge in the lineup. So just think of that 208. I believe the A's, I know the A's are dead last. I believe they're hitting 219 as a team for the year. So you're talking about the Yankees are hitting 11 points worse than the worst team in the league without Judge in the lineup. So if you're going strictly as a hitter, as an everyday player, I'll still give Judge the edge. But what Ohtani does on the mound, obviously, you can't compare it to anybody, but he's doing this.
It's a winning day, like we mentioned, guys. 2-2 yesterday. Big dogs cashed the Giants, cashed with Cincy, and should have had Pirates. It's just pitching change got us off that game with the bet with the void, and then couldn't get as good of a price second time around. But Pitt came back around with that one. So another winning day, John. Things have heated up this week.
Yeah, well, I believe we were gifted 2 games. We were gifted the Reds and the Giants last night. What I mean by that is at 12 o'clock when we do the podcast, 11 o'clock actually we get it started. I had no bets on those games. The shops buried the Orioles and Toronto. And it got to the point where the numbers just went high. This is why I say, guys, I don't bet just what the other shop guys bet. I don't follow their numbers. A lot of times we're going to be on the same side. Looks like we're on the same side right now with Cleveland. Cleveland's just starting to move. We'll talk more about that game in a bit. But if they push a game too high, which I don't make the number there, like the Reds game yesterday, I thought the opening number was the right number. That game went so high that I was forced to take the Reds and Abbott. Same situation. Didn't want to buck Guzman with San Francisco going with their 4th bullpen game in 8 days. I understand why we're betting against it, but San Fran is just that hot, too hot to be that big number. We took $1.70 with a Giant team, 11-2 in their last 13 games. This is what we talk about value. So we bucked the Sharps in those 2 games, and look, Sharps got their dicks kicked in pretty much yesterday. They were also on the Tigers. I understand why they were betting that game, but I gave you my reasons why I thought Texas would step up yesterday, and they did after falling down 2-0. They were also on the White Sox. They had the info early. Trout would be out. That number plummeted by the nighttime. So it was another game we stayed off. So yeah, Sharps not so good. Even the Sharps don't win every day. So just as long as we get there by the end of the year, that's what we'll do. Another profitable day has been said, and let's keep that rolling today.
Let's keep it rolling. Now we got a fun little pitching matchup in this top game on the card, John. We have Snell versus Keller. Snell, what he's given the last 6 starts, just absolutely amazing. 2 runs, 36 innings, 56 Ks, 13 walks. Last 2 were 12 shutout innings versus the Rays and the Red Hot Giants. And he's had even better numbers on the road. Meanwhile, Keller, 2 of his last 3 starts are quality starts. Last one 1 run in 7 innings. He's been pitching good ball. So 2 pitchers going decent. Obviously, talked about it yesterday. San Diego right now, almost just as bad as Pittsburgh. They've lost 3 straight. They've lost 6 of their last 8. They're not scoring much, 2.3 runs per game. Pittsburgh now 2-2 their last 4 since the Big Ten game win streak or losing streak. This game is can't believe I'm saying this against Snell, but still Pittsburgh or nobody. I'm not going to go against Snell. Can't do it. But if I were to play this game, can't lay that price with San Diego. But as good as Snell has been, just not worth the price for the San Diego team.
He's been lights out. I mean, really, again, we call it video game numbers. But first, let me just address a little something that came up yesterday. So yesterday, we were on the Pirates against Darvish. We only bet money line listed pitchers. Once Darvish is scratched, we have no bet. So if we wanted to go back with the Pirates, we have to rebet it. So I got some DMs. So then why not bet it? Obviously, Darvish is better than Kanora. Yes, Darvish was going to be better than the replacement, but the same value wasn't there. Again, if you remember what we talked about yesterday, Darvish in his name is giving them extra. It's an overlay more so because of his name. So that's what we were paying, we're making them pay for. So yeah. It's always tough to bet a team that's lost 12 or 13 with the Pirates. Mm-hmm. So I have that extra value. Once Darvish was out of the box, it just wasn't there. We tell you all the time because we're betting the line. If the line was 2-1, we're betting the Pirates. If the line was pick'em, we're betting San Diego. In between that, somewhere we find the right number, so the value still wasn't there. As far as today's game, Snell right now, like I said, you can't hit him. Pirates could be very challenged today. Even winning that game, they're just not hitting the ball for good reason. So you got Brian Reynolds is on the injured list, and you got Hayes, Cabrian Hayes, who's batting .337 this month, has missed the last 2 games. He'll be questionable again today. So you get your 2 best hitters out of the lineup. Going to be tough to pull the trigger with the Pirates as a home dog with their ace going. We'll wait to see where the lineups are and where this line is later in the day. But we've been telling you, San Diego, just like Darvish, in name only, they're just not that good.
Yeah, can't get it done with the bats there. Could be an under game, like you mentioned, with those 2 key bats possibly both out for Pittsburgh. Then we have Brewers at the Mets. Brewers couldn't get it done last night. They're not hitting too much. They had won the prior 4 meetings this season. They're 3-2 their last 5 on this trip. Meanwhile, you have the Mets now 2-2 their last 4. This pitching matchup, pretty interesting. Miley versus Senga. Miley comes back from the IL, 2 starts, 11 shutout innings, 7 Ks, 2 walks. Did throw 6 shutout innings versus the Mets back in April. And then Senga, last 2 starts, roughed up, 8 runs across 12 innings, 14 Ks, 4 walks, though. And he has been better at home. The same thing we just talked about San Diego. Same thing we're going to talk about with Seattle once we get there. Just teams have been underperforming, overpriced. And the way Wade Miley's been going this season, what Milwaukee's gotten out of Miley and Teheran, I mean, just absolutely incredible. So another older guy who's just going to have a big bounce back season. This is Milwaukee or nothing. Miley's been terrific.
And just as Ben just said, what they're getting out of Miley and Teheran, they didn't get it out of him yesterday, and that's why we got beat. We were on Milwaukee yesterday. I'm going to come right back with them today. And if Miley doesn't have what he's been doing, we'll lose again. But the value's there. You've got a Met team. Look, Milwaukee's not hitting. I mean, there's just no question about it. This cannot hit. But the Mets just 6-15 since June 2nd. If I give Miley the pitching edge, which I do, like I said, coming back 11 straight scoreless innings in his returns, in the 2 starts since his return, got to be better than Senga's last couple of starts. I give him the pitching edge. I'll take the $1.35 with the Brewers team battling for first place against a struggling Met team.
Then it's Phillies at Chicago. Philly gets the win yesterday. They've won 3 of 4 meetings this season. They've won 3 of their last 4. They're 9-3 their last 12. Cubs have dropped their last 2, but they're still 9-3 their last 12. Nola versus Smiley. Nola coming off a start against the red-hot Braves through 6 shutout innings against them. Prior 2 starts was roughed up for 10 runs, and he had a quality start versus the Cubs back in May. Smiley, he's coming off 5 shutout innings against the ice-cold Pirates. Prior to that, gave up 5 runs in 6 innings versus the Pirates. Last 2 starts, both against Pitt. And then he had a quality start versus the Phillies last year. This Phillies team playing good ball right now. Cubs were playing good ball prior to the trip to London. We'll see if this is going to start a little bit of a cold swell. You got a home dog there with Smiley on the mound. Smiley was struggling a little bit, kind of found himself back against the Pirates. Need to see it against an actual team. Before then, I was on the Pirates hitting 130, 140 that week. Nola, and then same thing with him. He just has a great start against the Braves, maybe a little bit of a letdown now. He does have his road struggles. Weird game to get a read on. Slightest of leans there to the Cubs as far as the price goes. But again, I'm staying away from.
Yeah, home dog here is looking interesting. If the Sharps have come in with the Phillies on this game, I guess on the back of Nola's last performance against the Braves. We bet against him that game. He did throw shutout ball, but just for 6 innings, didn't go that deep. His 2 starts before that, he'd been getting hit. He doesn't pitch well on the road. Do the Cubs regroup back from London and play that same ball that they were playing before they went on the trip? They were playing some red hot ball. Don't know. We'll see. It's Cubs or nobody as the home dog in this one. Again, we'll wait to see how far this line goes up.
Dodgers at Colorado. Dodgers blank him 5-0 yesterday. Kershaw, just another great start. Coors Field didn't matter for him. Right now you have this Rockies team 2-2 on the homestand, but 2-10 their last 12. Dodgers come in playing good ball, winning 5 of 6. Freeland on the mound for Colorado. Still waiting on a pitcher here for the Dodgers. Freeland really good in Coors. What is it on the season now? 3-2, 3.42. He had 3 starts in Coors against the Dodgers last year. They went 2-1 in those starts. The 2 that they won were both quality starts, and is coming off a decent start there against the Angels. 4 runs, 3 earned in 5 innings. This is can't give you too much without knowing who the Dodgers pitcher is, but it's most likely going to be Rockies or nothing here. Tough to back Colorado right now the way they've been hitting. Just have to assume this is going to be an overlay for whoever they have in the box.
Look, Dodgers are an overlay just about every day. But, hey, let me tip my cap to what Kershaw did. Got rid of those 1 second. Excuse me. Just a message coming in. We got, as you know, it's with the day games, we're getting lineups. There's some movement actually right now on the Twins. And we'll talk about that game shortly. But you guys probably – it's not going to mean anything to you anyway. The game will be started. Getting back to Kershaw, a great job after getting banged around three times in a row. Lakers. Dodgers had come in winning 4 or 5 yesterday, but they still weren't hitting. Still just hitting 210 this week and hitting just 226 off left-handed pitches. So they may struggle again with Freeland. We told you yesterday. This is the Dodger team from last year. They've won 111 games. Still split 10 games at Coors Field with the Rockies. Rockies always give them fits there. So, again, have to wait to see what the number is. But Freeland, he's giving you good baseball at home. When you have an under 4 ERA at Coors, you're doing a good job.
Then it's Tigers at Texas. Rangers get the win last night. Even the series. Detroit right now 3-3 their last 6. Meanwhile, Texas, they snapped a 3-game losing streak. Wentz versus Dunning. Wentz last 2 starts was better. 6 runs, 5 earned in 11 innings. Still not solid, though. He did hold Rangers to 1 run and 4 1/3 back in May. And then you have Dunning, who's coming off 2 quality starts versus the Yankees and Blue Jays. He has had bad numbers against the Tigers throughout his career. Gave up 3 runs in 5 innings on a loss earlier this year in May. And then in his career, 0-3, 5.70 versus Detroit. This is a slight lean here to the Tigers. Tomorrow going to be an interesting spot for the Tigers. Rangers have the Astros coming up on Friday, so a little bit of a look ahead coming up here for them this weekend. They need some wins before that, though, build up the confidence. Need a bit more on the price here to back Wentz. Dunning, overall, the better pitcher, been pitching better. Just that historical struggles against Detroit makes it a little bit tempting to get involved in this game. Other than that, we'll be staying away completely.
Yeah, the Sharps are on Detroit. As we tell you guys all the time, they tend to repeat with teams. So they've been on Detroit in the last 2 days. So they'll try to get their money back today. Wentz 2 decent starts. His last 2 starts, decent. But against the Minnesota Twins, both starts. Minnesota Twins, they don't hit lefties. I believe they're hitting 216 versus left-handed pitchers. So they weren't great starts, and that was against the Twins. Now you're coming up against Texas Rangers, and Texas, 294 versus left-hand pitches. They also lead the league in team batting average and score the most runs. I don't see the value for the Tigers here. I saw it on the opening night. We took that W. We'll pass this one, Ben.
Guardians at Kansas City. They get the win yesterday. They've won 6 of the last 9 meetings there. Cleveland 6-2 their last 8. Now just trailing a half game of Minnesota, and a good chance to catch them today with Twins still battling in Atlanta. It's going to be Allen versus Cox. Allen. Guardians have won 8 of his 11 starts, coming off a bit of a bounce-back start. 4 shutout innings versus Oakland. Prior to that, gave up 10 runs in 9 innings. Need something more from him today. I mean, if you're a pitcher struggling, which he was, getting A's and KC back-to-back is a pretty good way to get going again. And then Cox, you're going to have him making his MLB debut through 12.1 scoreless innings in relief. Sorry, his MLB debut start. But through his through 12.1 scoreless innings in relief earlier this year. This game is Cleveland or nobody. You're getting a pretty cheap price. In Kansas City, they lost 3 of 4, 10-29 at home. Not getting it done. If you're the Guardians, you have a chance to get in first in the division today. Have to beat up on Kansas City. So this is really just a schedule spot, standing spot. Allen, they've had some success. 8 of his 11 starts. Guardians are nobody here.
Yeah, look, it's Oakland's the worst team in the league. Kansas City's the second worst team in the league. You got the Guardians going in there tonight. They were dead last night. It's a 1-0 game. They get 2 in the ninth. These are the type of things that happen when a team is hot, and that's what the Guardians are starting to be. Whereas KC had a nice little fight, splitting a 4-game series at the team with the best record, Tampa Bay, come back home and then blow that lead. Barlow, the closer, threw 30 pitches in that 9th inning. So we'll see if he's even available today. Guardians, we laid -125 as soon as this number come up. A real cheap number to try to go into first place. Remember, you got Minnesota at Atlanta. Atlanta's steamrolling everybody right now. So Guardians, after struggling, after looking terrible, they have the least amount of homers in baseball. They could be the lead Central Division. And that'll look, right now, there's not a team in the American League Central that's even playing 500 ball. That division leaves a lot to be desired. Both Central divisions, because the other Central Division, the National League, I'll give anybody a shot there outside of the Pirates. I'll still leave that open for St. Louis, and even the Cubbies now just trailing a few games. Cincinnati and Milwaukee got Milwaukee trailing by a half. So those are going to be the real races. This one will be just Guardians or many, and let's see how this goes. But I laid this for a 1-unit bet on the Guardians today, -125.
Yeah, the Central Division is going to be fun to watch. St. Louis, I would not be surprised if they get going here and make that chase. And we'll see which teams are there as sellers. White Sox versus Angels. Ohtani last night. We talked about it at the start. Just incredible. They get the win there 4-2. They have now won 6 of the last 8 meetings, 4 of 5 this season. This Chicago team, they've lost 4 of 6, hitting just .217. Giolito versus Barria today. Giolito, 3 of his last 4 starts, quality starts, been pretty solid. Last one, only 1 earned, but gave up 3, 10 Ks, 1 walk for Cincinnati. Had a decent start versus the Angels earlier this year. And Barria, they've kind of been messing around with him a little bit. Through 3 shutout innings in relief on June 18th. Hasn't made an appearance since then. Prior to that, gave up 5 runs and 9 1/3 in his 2 prior starts. This game is White Sox or nobody. Slightest of leans here to Chicago. Giolito, don't love his road numbers. We'll see what he can give here. Give him the slight pitching edge in this matchup. And Angels, yes, they've been winning some games a little bit. Now 3 of 4. Bats really not doing too much. It's just the one explosion in Colorado. And since then, really haven't had any big numbers. So it had a terrific game. Ohtani single-handedly wins that game last night. We'll see if they have anything here. This is White Sox or nobody for me.
Yeah, take Ohtani's bat out of the line. They get beat again with no runs last night. Giolito, these are basically auditions. It's almost time. It's almost trade deadline. So you got a lot of White Sox pitchers there that Lynn, Giolito, that could be making their last few starts for the White Sox. Anyway, Giolito's pitched nice ball, much better this year than last year. He has talent. We've seen it before. This kid's thrown no-hitters, so we know what he's got. Barria, this is a spot starter. They needed him in relief. They threw him in relief. He had a couple of starts before that. He's not going to go long if he goes deep into the game. Do they give Ohtani a break today after the big game last night? I mean, I wouldn't. You're red hot with the bat. Keep that bat in there. But you got to wait and see. This was happened with Trout. They gave Trout the break last night. This game right now is right where it belongs. If everybody's in the lineup, you got to give Giolito the pitching advantage here. And White Sox are just doing what the White Sox do. Just keep losing. Every time you think they're going to get okay, they're not. I think they'll be ready to blow this up by getting rid of the pitchers. 115. That's the right price for this game. So I got nothing unless this game moves or there's some injuries.
Yeah, he said it's an audition, perhaps an audition for the Angels themselves, because they're going to be a team shopping for some pitching. And we have Yankees at Oakland. Yankees still not hitting. A's get a win last night, beat them 2-1. They've won 3 of the last 5 in Oakland. Yankees now dropped 3 of 5, scoring just 2.2 runs per game, hitting 194 this week. Then you have this Oakland team, 2-2 their last 4, but still just over the last, 2-10 their last 12 after the 8-game win streak. So this Oakland team, you know what you're going to get out of them? Not much. It's Herman versus Sears. Oakland with the pitching edge today. That's pretty rare. Herman, last 2 starts, 17 runs in 5 1/3. I mean, just absolutely lit up. Not looking to back him. He did have 7 shutout innings versus Oakland last year, and this is your get-right situation. If you're a pitcher struggling, you want to see Oakland. We'll see if he gets right. I won't be betting on that. Then you have Sears coming off a quality start against Cleveland. He's been pretty solid. Did get roughed up by the Yankees earlier this year, but he has better numbers at home. This is, Yankees just not getting it done with the offense. And if you have a decent pitcher going, it's tempting, but can't lay -150 with a team not scoring and a pitcher who's been getting killed. This is Oakland or nobody here with Sears on the bump today.
Oakland or nobody. I just need this big game to go a little higher. Let's see what happens. So we gave you the stats, what the Yankees are doing without Judge. So let's put those stats in your mind. Forget everything else that the Yankees are doing. 13-17, hitting 208 without Judge in a lineup. And that's over 30 games. That's a nice sample size. So without Judge in a lineup, this is the 2 worst offenses in Major League Baseball. We saw it last night, as evidenced by the 2-1 score. Another low-scoring game. If you can get a big enough number with that home dog, it's worth it. The value can only be on Oakland. Oakland or nobody, again, depends on where the line is later.
The Twins at Atlanta. Atlanta just keeps on keeping on. They've won the first 2 in this series by combined 10-3. They're now 19-3 their last 22. Meanwhile, this Minnesota team, they've dropped 3 of 4, scoring 2.75 runs per game. Maeda versus Allard. Now, Maeda got to give him the pitching advantage, a little bit more proven. He threw 5 shutout innings in his return, but it was against the Tigers. Take it for a grain of salt. He went 0-4, 9.00 ERA in April. So I imagine the Maeda we get this year is a little bit of a hybrid of what we saw in April in Detroit. Don't think he's going to be giving you the shutout ball against Atlanta. Then Allard, he's going to be making his first start this year. Had 2 starts in AAA, 2 runs across 6 2/3, nothing terrific. He had 1 start against the Twins back in 2021. Had a quality start there, actually, but just a guy who's been up and down from the minors and the bigs. Can't seem to find a way to stay anywhere. This game would be Atlanta or nobody. I mean, you guys betting Atlanta every day. Keep on doing it. Who am I to tell you not? Big price on this game. Yes, Maeda might have the pitching edge, but what this Braves offense is doing is just stellar. So this could be an over game with this pitching matchup. I have a hard time seeing Maeda do what he did against Detroit, against this Atlanta lineup.
Yeah, we bet against Maeda his first time out. We bet Detroit in that game, and he blanked us. That was Detroit, one of the worst hitting teams in MLB. And while the Texas Rangers lead the MLB in team hitting and scoring, the best hitting team right now is no question the Atlanta Braves. Yeah. They're assaulting pitchers. Maeda will not have as easy a time as he did with Detroit. A little money showing up for the Twins, though. Just don't like the Twins in this spot. I think they feel that rope tightening around their neck. They feel the Guardians on their back. Afternoon game, getaway day. I just don't like the Twins in this spot, but I'm staying off this one.
And much like Rangers and Houston, Braves get Miami this weekend, so maybe looking there. That's 6.5 games back there for the Marlins, the second in that NL East. Next matchup, Nationals at Seattle. Nats tied it up in the 8th. They win it in the 11th, 7-4. That evens the series yesterday. They've now won 3 of the last 4, scoring 5.25 runs per game. Seattle's dropped 3 of 4. Corbin versus Gilbert. Corbin, they've lost his last 4 starts. Smashed for 7 runs last time out against San Diego. Then you have Gilbert, who's been pitching a bit better. Last was a quality start against Baltimore. This is still an overlay. Nats or nobody here. Do you want to back Corbin's the question? Can they win 2 of 3 in this series? Feels like he missed a little bit of the party yesterday, so you don't want to be coming in too late, but still big price here. As good as Gilbert was the last 2 starts, he has just been up and down all season long. He's either giving up 5-6 runs or he's giving you a quality start. So this is Nationals or nobody, but need more of that price to get behind Corbin the way he's been going.
Yeah, we were on Corbin a few times early in the year. He had a nice little stretch. We saw value there. Corbin starting to return to last year's ugly performances. Don't want to back him in this spot. Day game after winning the night game, come from behind, winning extra innings. We'll leave this one alone. But as Ben said, it's Nats and nobody not laying this price with Seattle. Seattle, another team that did just an overlay. Seattle, Mets, San Diego, these teams are just overvalued. That's why we're usually against them. If the Orioles series, Seattle was just at Baltimore. We were on Baltimore every game in that series. Again, the shops tend to repeat with the same teams because that's where we're seeing the teams being either undervalued or overvalued.
Then it's Reds at Baltimore. The Cincy team gets it done last night. Abbott, another great start. Weaver versus Gibson today. Weaver is just a weird pitcher. He's just not going well. Last 4 starts, 20 runs in 16 2/3, but they've won his last 5 starts. So they've been getting offense going behind him, been a little bit less horrible on the road. Then you have Gibson going for the Orioles, gave up 5 runs his last time out in just 4 innings. Prior to that, had a pair of quality starts, but still quality starts, giving up 3 runs in each. So he's been getting hit up a little bit. This game to me is Cincy or nobody. I don't want to be back in Weaver, and I've said that the last few times he's come out, and they've still found a way to pull out the game. I would look more so to the over in this matchup. Bull pitcher's been giving up runs consistently in the last several starts, and I imagine the way these offenses can go, we'll see that again today. So this is over or nothing, and a slightest of leans here to Cincinnati. Just Gibson has a bit too strong of a pitching edge for me to want to get behind it.
I just can't get behind Weaver. I just can't. I wanted to do it the last time. Braves jump out to that 5-0 lead. I'm like, okay, we did the right thing staying off this piece of garbage, but the Reds just so strong came back to win it. Told you guys at the beginning of the podcast, we sharp guys handed this game to us last night. They bet the Orioles. They bet it high enough for us to take the Reds. So we got gifted that game. Will they repeat with the Orioles again? If they send this game much higher, they're going to force me to the Reds. Again, it's Reds or nobody at this number. Reds are now 14-3. Their last 17 road games. They're getting the job done. They're scoring. They're in every game. Orioles hitting 218 this week. Don't want to back Weaver in this spot. If the shops push this number much higher, I'll be on Cincy.
Then it's Giants at Toronto. Still nobody in the box here for the Jays. Originally was Bassett, so we'll see if it ends up being him. It's supposed to be Webb for San Francisco. 11 of Webb's last 12 starts were quality starts. Hasn't been lights out in June, though. 3-1, 4.05 ERA. He's been giving up solid about 3 runs pretty much on a lot of these quality starts. Giants get the win yesterday. Have to see who Toronto comes with. If you can get Webb at dog money, going to be tempting to go there. Just depends on who Toronto comes up with. So even if it's Bassett, which kind of hope it is Bassett, might get a big price there. Yeah, exactly. Because Bassett's last 3 starts were brutal. So hoping it's him in the box. We'll see if that's who they come with. But yeah, I can't give you much more than that.
Bassett's last 3 starts, 17 runs, 15 earned across 11 2/3 innings. In 2 starts versus the Giants last year, 13 runs with 4 homers off 10 1/3. Please let it be Bassett. The value will be all to Webb. Webb, as Ben said, 11 of his last 12 starts, all quality starts. The only one that wasn't was at Coors Field. We'll give him a pass on that one. Giants are red hot. Blue Jays they got shut out by the Giant bullpen last night. All the value in the world if Bassett comes in. Look, reminds me of another Toronto pitcher that we had on auto fade. Ben, how would you like to tell everybody the statistics of Alek Manoah and how he's been doing in his minor league rehabs?
Yeah, what was it? 2 2/3, gave up 11 runs. Just ridiculous in rookie ball Florida complex league. So that's a tough go for him there. If you guys saw that post yesterday, pulled that quote from him from an interview last year. He went on a podcast talking about how, the starting pitcher's a dying thing. The workhorse, the guy goes 7, 8, 9 innings. You let him go out there no matter what, give him the ball. He was talking about how he wants to be that guy, bring it back into starting pitchers, and he can't make it out of the second inning in rookie ball. So that's a little concerning there.
And look, I'm not trying to make fun of the guy's career. I'm just telling. This is why we bet the trends. Okay, now we saw that Noah, he was just going one way. Right now, Bassett is going the same way. Will get fooled every once in a while, like Kershaw last night. His statistics at Coors Field were telling me this. Dodgers batting is telling me this. They turn it around. More times than not, the statistics will tell you the story. So we'll see who the pitcher is for Toronto. If it's Bassett and Webb, and they pop up Bassett as a favorite, we'll be on the Giants.
Then Marlins at Boston, still waiting on a pitcher in the box here for the Red Sox as well. So can't give you guys too much, but I'll tell you again, I want the road dog in this one. I'm hoping Marlins are plus money. If so, beyond them. Doesn't really matter who Boston throws for me today. Garish has been that good. Last 3 starts, 3 runs across 18 1/3, only 2 earned. He's terrific on the road, 2-1, 2.1, 8-8 starts. Fenway, a little bit different of a road situation, but nonetheless, what he's been giving you have to like what he's been throwing. And Boston is ice cold right now. They've lost 5 of 6, scoring 2.17 runs per game, hitting under 200 this week. This is going to be Marlins or nobody. Have to see who's in the box for Boston.
Yep. Boston does hit the ball well at home. Boston, I believe it's 290 at Fenway Park. They got Verdugo back last night. He had a 12-game hitting streak. Boom, he comes right back off the bereavement. A nice 2 for 3 for him. So we'll see who they got in the lineup. As Ben said, Garrett pitching real good baseball. And outside of Perez, I'm going to call him Miami's number 2 because I'm done with Alcantara. So we'll see who Boston has in the pen, who in the starting lineup. And we'll see where that line goes. We'll make our decision later, guys. That's why got to become a member. How to beat the bookie. After 12 o'clock, a lot of things are happening. A lot of parts are moving. Just yesterday, you missed 2 winners. Cincy, San Fran.
In this next matchup, Astros at St. Louis. Cardinals get the win yesterday, 4-2. Cardinals playing good ball right now. Astros are not. 2 teams trending in opposite directions. St. Louis won 6 of 8. Meanwhile, Houston 3-8, their last 11. Javier versus Mikolas. Now, prior to last start, Javier definitely gets the pitching edge. He is the better pitcher. The question is, what are you going to get right now? He's coming off a start, 5 walks against a Mets team who's not doing too much damage and just 2 1/3. So really, really bad start there against the Mets. Prior to that was going solid. Then you have Mikolas on the bump here for St. Louis. He's coming off a quality start against the Nats. Take it with a grain of salt because it's the Nats. 2 runs in 7 innings and ended up losing that game. Prior to that was lit up 11 runs in 12 innings. This game to me is still Cardinals or nobody. They're bet on. I keep saying that. This team, I think, has a real chance to make a run in this division. They're playing good ball right now. They've had the schedule to do so. And even right now, this is supposed to be a tougher part of their schedule. They get the Astros and the Yankees when they're just playing their coldest baseball. So they have a pretty easy schedule last week, and they come in now. It's supposed to be the tough part of their schedule. And you get the Astros and the Yankees who are just absolute shadows of themselves. So they got to keep on rolling, take advantage of those teams struggling. Cardinals are nobody.
Catching them at the right time. So you're catching Houston without Jordan Alvarez, their best hitter. Altuve missed last night, his 2nd game in a row. He's questionable today. And then you're going to catch the Yankees without Judge. Who put the horseshoe up their ass? So this is kind of what happens when we talk about it's made for teams, and especially when they start getting into the street. Javier not only had a rough outing the last time, he just had no control with the Mets, but now not so good in 2 of his last 3 outings, and he'd been really solid. But in his last 3 outings now, 8 runs over 13 1/3 innings. Mikolas, as Ben said, good outing his last time out against the Nationals. Didn't come away a winner. 2 starts before that, not so good. And at home, 4.97 ERA. And teams batting 296 against him. That's not wanting me to lay the Cardinals in this spot. We'll wait to see where this line goes. We'll wait to see who the Astros will have in the lineup. This is a tough game. Astros just not playing good ball. St. Louis has. They won the game that they needed to win. That first game back from London always figures to be a tough game. They bounce back. They get the W there. Cubbies didn't. We'll see how it happens tonight.
And then last game on the card, Tampa Bay at Arizona. D-backs win at 8-4 yesterday. Tampa now dropped 2 of 3, and they're 3-6 their last 9, but they are hitting 286 this week. You have this Rays team still top of the league scoring. D-backs up there as far as hitting. You have Arizona now winning 4 of 6. Eflin versus Davies. First glance, you want to go against Eflin on the road. I want to go against Eflin on the road as much as possible. Can't do it today. Davies lit up last 3 starts, 21 runs and 10 2/3. Him and Herman going to be joining Manoah very quickly in Florida Complex if they keep this up. So I can't back Davies as much as I want to go against Eflin on the road, who's 1-3, 5.08 in his 6 road starts. Was better his last one, but it was at San Diego, so take that with a grain of salt. This is still D-backs or nobody, but if anyone has the balls to back Davies, let me know. I don't.
D-backs and nobody is right. That's what the numbers say. But with Davies, the last 3 outs, he's unbackable. And that's what we talk about sometimes. Sometimes our numbers will say, oh, you got Arizona, our first-place team, playing well, scoring, they're 5th in scoring. But Davies is just can't back him, unbackable. As he's basically auto fade as Manoah was or as Bassett will be today. So I'll let this one go. Don't have to bet every game. Just got to pick out the winners. And this will be a tough one. We'll see how that one breaks down. I got 2 bets so far and looking at a couple more, and that'll depend on where the lines go and what the lineups are.
Yeah, guys, a lot of lineups to be announced. Pitching is in the situation of a few games we haven't figured out yet. So once we get those, you guys know how to beat the bookie members. Those will be updated on the app and on the website. If you guys aren't a member, go check it out, howtobeatthebookie.com, or go to the app on the App Store, Google Play, download the How to Beat the Bookie app. John, 4 straight winning days, 5 of the last 6. A rough week last week, bouncing back in a big fashion, dogs heating up. Hopefully we can keep it up going into the weekend here.
That's what we do, guys. It's a season-long grind. It's 162 games. Don't go crazy at any one day. Don't go crazy at any one week. It's a long haul. We're in it for the long haul. We're not going to stop betting tomorrow. So we're going to go keep this rolling, bet with value every day. You'll see the money come up. I know you guys, you see the teams I bet, and I put it on the chat. Yeah, the teams that we're going to bet, they're going to be the Tigers, the Nationals, the Rockies, the teams that nobody wants. We're going to be against the Dodgers, against the Rays, against the Braves, the teams that are on automatic overlay. That's where the value is going to be. Value is not going to be on the Braves right now. So betting the rough teams, like it says, a couple of days ago, we had a guy go, oh, you can't bet the Tigers anymore. They suck. That next day we cashed with the Tigers as a plus 180 dog against the Rangers. Have faith, trust the system. We'll get you there.
Going to get there, guys. Always do. You guys know where to go. Download the app or the website. And if you guys haven't yet, like, subscribe, comment below. Appreciate you guys who tune in. Let's make some money, John.
We'll see you here tomorrow, guys.